Hello, everybody. Welcome to our May I Show You Something New event. This is Angie Oldenburg coming to you from Wisconsin, US. I am so sorry that I am not able to be presenting it live for you this weekend. I am currently recording this on Monday of the week that you're going to be seeing this. And my husband and I are going to be going for a little bit of a long weekend. So hopefully I'll be able to hop on and watch events as the weekend goes through, and maybe comment and I can maybe even answer questions on my presentation, hopefully. Um, but I just wouldn't be able to be presenting live. So, because I don't know what the internet situation is going to be. So anyway, so welcome to the May event. You've already been seeing lots of presentations if you've gotten to mine, since I am scheduled to go live on with this presentation on Saturday. And I hope you've been enjoying everybody's projects. If not, you can go back to the videos and watch them after excuse me, after the event is over, so that you can make sure you hit all the ones that you missed. So this is our new catalog. I'm guessing most of you have seen it or have one in your hands. So we're going to be focusing today on mainly the phrases and frames stamp set. This is a stamp set that is in a bundle, but I am just going to be working with the stamp set today. So this is on page 50 of the catalog. Here's the set. It's a little bit easier to see. Lots of great sentiments, which I'm happy to see in these sets because sometimes we are missing some of that. So it's nice to have something to stamp on the inside of the card with a nice greeting, and some sentiments to share so that you don't always just have to write on the inside. So this is the stamp set we're using primarily today. Again, it's on page 50. And then the suite that I'm kind of bundling everything with is the Valley in Bloom suite, and that runs from page 22 through page 25. If you haven't seen samples of it already, it's beautiful. Absolutely love it. So we're going to be working with a few pieces of it, not the designer series paper, actually, which is gorgeous, and I'll show you that in a bit. But we're going to be using the floral spray embossing folder, some of the dies, and the stamp set. And then the embellishments actually that I'm using are not technically with this suite, but they match the suite. Um, and those, I forgot to look up what page those are on. Hold on. Do, 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 do. Get to use our index in here. If you guys are happy to have that back, put in a thumbs up because, man, I am happy that we have these back. So I'm going to be using the in color butterflies. Those are on page 72, and I'll show those to you too. Gosh, all the embellishments. Again, love that they went back to doing this. Big pictures of the embellishments so that we can see them all, see what they look like, see what the colors are. So we're going to be using the in color butterflies. Here's the actual package. So there's two different sizes of butterflies. They are kind of thick, so if you're going to be mailing it, it might be a little bit more challenging. You need to have some cushion, because they're like a firm plastic piece. So they'll be a little bit hard on your card front, but put some cushion in the envelope and you should be good to go. So that's what we're going to be using today. So let me show you the papers really quickly. Like I said, we're not going to be using those in the card today, but I do have some samples. So these are the designer series papers. Absolutely gorgeous. Lily of the Valley prints. Um, there's just this nice green background, more of a kind of smaller image. Some amazing pages that you could use for scrapbooking and cards. So that nice pattern. And that one would be a really cool scrapbook page. And then I'll flip it over. So as always, we've got the nice patterns, kind of more neutrals on the back side. And then this is the yellow on the back of that little piece. As you can see, I've already been using this. So, all right, so I'm gonna get that out of the way and we will get going. This is the card we're gonna be making today. My screen just turned off, so I gotta get that back up so I can make sure I'm seeing what I'm doing here. So this is the cute little anniversary card I'm making today. Pretty straightforward and simple, but just kind of highlights how beautiful this suite is and all the options with it. So nice anniversary saying on the inside. So we're gonna go through a few things there. I'm gonna put that up in the top. Got all my pieces. So we are using one of the new in colors, or a couple of the new in colors, the Peaceful Pines, um, Peaceful Pine and Barely Blush. I'm still getting used to those names for our colors today. And as you can see that neither one of the colors are necessarily in the stamp set, although you could, the blush is questionable, like that it could be. Um, and then this beautiful embossing folder. And I know it's hard to see on the screen, so let me put the card stock inside, maybe be able to see it a little bit better. Maybe not. So anyway, we're gonna, I prepped a lot of this ahead of time so that I wouldn't have to do the cut and emboss. But this is, again, one of our huge embossing folders. So you could do a whole card front, obviously. You could do two sections, two at a time. You could do a couple different sections if you wanted to use it for like a layering piece on a scrapbook page or a border on a scrapbook page. You could do two sections and you'd have your full 12 inch page covered. So it is beautiful, and it's a beautiful 3D image. So I am using the, again, names, Barely Blush color. And I already ran it through the embossing folder. So again, I'm sorry that it's hard to see. Oh, there is not, maybe not too bad. I'll put it in the shadow. So it is a very nice deep 3D image that we are going to be using for our card front. And we can put that down right away, because there's nothing else that we're going to do with this layer. So using glue, because it does adhere a little bit better when with these deeper embossing folders. And there's no like direction on it necessarily, so there are some Lily of the Valley little flowers on there, so you could try to put it that direction, but with that big flower in the middle, it, I don't know, it doesn't have to be in a certain direction. So that's that layer. The next one we are gonna do is, I used a little piece of soft sea foam for my Lily in the Valley flowers. So let me grab, I'm actually gonna use the Stampin' Positioner tool to stamp this, because it is a bit of a bigger stamp. You can see I've already got it stuck down on here. And it was a little bit unwieldy to have on the really big block. So I like using this for bigger images. It gives me a little bit more stability when I'm stamping, so that I'm not rocking it back and forth and, getting all the shadows and things. So this is not very detailed. I mean, I'm not going to be needing to repeat images or anything on here, hopefully. But I will sort of line it up. The nice thing about this positioning tool is you can move your paper. If you already have the stamp on the grid, you can make sure your paper's in the right spot before you ink it up, before anything, because the positioner is naturally up off of the paper. You don't stamp down, or the ink doesn't touch the paper until you push down on it. So you can kind of get your position where you want it to be before you even get to the inking. Line it. You can line it up easier, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That was a long explanation for that. So I know this is messy because I've got the grid paper underneath, so it might not be easy to see. I apologize for that, but I'm going to ink this up. I see my magnet little guy. I am going to use the magnets just in case I don't get it completely inked so that I can put it back down if I need to. So you're going to flip it over. The logo is going to be the right direction in order for it to drop into these little pegs. And you can see there's a spring little action here, up and down. And so then we're just going to stamp down, push, and then make sure that it's, oop, it didn't get completely inked here. So let me put a little more ink on it up to the side. That's why we put them, put it down with the, then I got my other stamps sticking to things. And hopefully this didn't move, which is the goal of those magnets. It's funny, the other two times I did this, I didn't need to re-ink and stamp it again. So there's still a little spot that's a little bit light, but that's okay. You could re-ink it again and put it down. I already have one prepped for this project, so I just wanted to show you the Stampin' Positioner so that you can kind of saw it again. I know there have been a couple people that have used it in presentations before. So I'm going to move this out of the way because, like I said, I already did one and then cut it out with the die. And let me show you the dies with this. I forgot to do that earlier. So the two dies that we are using, oh, goodness, are this one for the white piece here, and then this one cuts out the image that we just stamped. Oh goodness, hold on, making piles of things here when I'm trying to do this video. Okay, so this will layer right on here, so you can cut that out. So move that to the side. The other images in the stamp set. And then the other thing I forgot to show you, and where did I put it? Hold on. I should have showed you this at the beginning. I did do one of these pages so that you could see all the pieces of the stamp set and embossing, or sorry, die cuts. So we're going to cut out one of these, and then this was the image where I stamped on. And then of course there's different leaves. A smaller lily that we're going to use on the inside of the card actually can be cut out. This one here. And this nice little grid. So that's kind of fun too for background and layering. And then these are the stamp images. So you can see those. Move it up a little bit. So those are really, I love this stamp set. Absolutely love it. I like the fonts in that too. Okay, so this is the little piece I already die cut out. And what I did, you can maybe see that it's a little bit sparkly, maybe. Again, hard to see in the camera. But I did go over it. So this is just the Peaceful Pines ink on the soft sea foam. And I went over it with just plain our regular Wink of Stella. So there's a little sparkle on the little blossoms. So we're going to use that. And then, now if I would have ordered in time, we have our new in color Wink of Stella. brushes or sparkle brushes. I am forgetting what they're called. So I actually would probably try to use that on this rather than what I am going to do. But I don't know if you can see a little bit that this is kind of pink on these little petals. So what we're going to do for this purpose, since I don't have those, but as soon as I get them, I am going to try this. So you squish your ink into the cover and you take your regular Wink of Stella. And you can do this with just about any color. You just need to make sure that you clean the brush off after you're done. And I'm going to do it right on the glass mat. I'm not going to be too crazy about this. So you go right in the ink and then you can paint whatever color you want right on the, and you get the sparkle and the color at the same time. Now I think, I have a feeling, and if any of the other demonstrators have already gotten their new brushes, I'm thinking that those are probably going to be a little bit deeper color, but I don't know for sure since I have not gotten them. Like I said, they are in transit, but have not showed up at my house yet. Actually, they're going to be here on Wednesday. So wasn't able to get them here in time for this purpose. But you'll be able to get an idea of what you can do with those, because that's what I would have used them for this project. So this is just going to be a very subtle pink on the little flowers of the lily of the valley, just to give it a little bit of depth and dimension, and then a little bit of sparkle. So I'm going to set that aside and let that dry. The reason why I did this one ahead, I wanted to get some of those to dry before while we were talking here, so I can kind of not be putting things down when they're still wet. So I'm going to let that set aside. And then I'm going to stamp the inside image. So this is just a white panel that we're going to use for the inside. And let me rearrange my ink pads. Okay, I still haven't gotten the hang of these new ink pads. I'm still learning about, kind of how to manipulate them and not drop the covers and, all that sort of stuff. So I'm just, we're still learning on that. And oh, let me get my little foam pad. The one thing I have noticed, and I don't know if everybody else has, that have been using the new ink colors, um, it seems like I used to be able to use my glass mat and get really crisp images, even with our photopolymer stamps. With the new ink, I'm needing to use the foam mat again. So I don't know what the reason is for that, but that's an observation I've had. Just a tip if you're getting fuzzy images when you're stamping with these new ink colors. Okay, so I'm going to actually come back in with the Wink of Stella again. And I'm going to do the pink, the blush first, just in case I have green on the Wink of Stella brush. And I'm going to just paint these guys a little bit of pink also. Now, this is our regular ink, so I wouldn't get it too wet because it will blur or, kind of smudge or smear. So I'm just kind of really painting inside the lines to make sure that I'm not smearing that green. Okay. And then let's switch to the Peaceful Pine. And when you're going light to dark, you can go from one color to the next. And what I did on this is I just kind of followed along the green outlines. And then because I wanted to blend a little bit, I smeared this. I think this Wink of Stella is starting to get a little empty, so I need to grab another one. Okay, so darker along the line, the vein of the leaf, And then I just kind of blended a little bit so that the color of the green went over the lines, and that's okay because that's what I wanted to have happen on this one. I didn't want a real dark green, but I wanted to have a little bit of color there, so I'm okay with it blending that ink that I already stamped, if that makes sense. Um, I didn't want to do a complete watercolor or something like that. This is just a way to add a bit of color without making it too dark. Because I like the green outline rather than using black. Okay, so that is the coloring of that, and we're gonna let that dry also before I put it on the inside. Let's go back to the front part. So these I'm just gonna layer down here, and you can see that it's a little too long. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of lay it out where I want these, and then I'm gonna snip them off with a scissors. Easy as that. Get my paper snips here. So just gonna kind of pick them back up. I'm an eyeball kind of person. I don't get too hung up on, oh, it's not exactly where I planned on it. I can adjust. So I'm not too stressed about cutting too much off or not enough off, because you can rearrange these things. And then I'm gonna just put them down with a little bit of glue. Don't need a lot because otherwise it's gonna ooze out. So just kind of tap it a little bit, spread it from flower to flower on that back side. Make sure it gets tacked down. I know you probably can't see this because it's kind of light. I never get text messages, and of course I got getting text messages while I'm recording. So, all right. So then we're just gonna lay this down. Kind of make sure that the bottom edge is lined up on the bottom. And then for the white, I am going to put at least one of the petals, maybe a couple, up on some dimensionals. So this one up on the top, I'm going to put a dimensional under. And maybe, let's see, this one. That one's kind of, might have to cut one of these little guys in half. There's scissors. The petals are a little tiny for a full one. All right, just these top three that I'll raise up a little bit, and then I'm going to put glue on the bottom ones, and a little bit along the stem so it sticks down. Again, you don't need a lot, just enough to kind of tack it. You could sponge it. I just didn't want to mess with that. If you have the fine tip glue pen would work great too. Again, just I didn't grab it, so that's why. I mean, you can use all different kinds of options for these. You could put or adhesive sheets, die cut it with the adhesive sheets. That's the one nice thing about all the adhesive options we have, is many of them work, and you can a lot of times adapt things to whatever you happen to have in your stash. Oh gosh, that moved. All right, hold on. I need to readjust. Okay. Oh goodness. You know what? That happens sometimes. Stuck it down too high up so that I want it to be even on the bottom. And so those are going to stick. That one's going to stick. And then I noticed that my dimensional is a little off kilter on this back of this flower. So I'm sorry that you can't see what I'm doing right at the moment, but I'm moving the dimensional so it's underneath that. Oh, the adhesive must come off. Time out. We're changing that. Give me another little dimensional. Put it on the back side there. So I want it small enough so that I can't see the dimensional when I'm looking at the front of the card. That's my main thing with this. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. A little bit of chaos. Okay, so the other little thing I'm using is just a little bit of the white twine to make a little bow. Um, I was gonna try to like tie the bow around the little bundle here, looking like you make it look like it's a little bouquet, but man, that got a little kind of futzy to try to figure that out and then lay it down, and yeah, so change my mind. So I will just, oops, hold on. Tying bows on cameras. Tie the bow and then put it down with a little glue dot. That's the other way to do it so that you don't have to worry about tying it around something. Should have done this ahead of time. Sorry, ladies. uh, Bows. Gotta love them, right? Some days. Okay. Now let me grab a glue dot. I usually just use the pokey bit from my take your pick tool to peel it off. And then since this is going to be kind of tiny, I kind of roll it up into a little burrito glue dot and stick it on the back. Otherwise you'll have too much adhesive on there. You can kind of manipulate which direction the little strings go to with the glue dot. And then tack her down, and then I'm just going to snip that end off because it was a little long. And there we go with that. Okay, so the next part is going to be our little happy anniversary. So let me grab the peaceful pine. Actually, let me get this piece out of the way. Or actually, we'll stamp these both at the same time. Never mind. Sorry, get a little organize myself here. Okay. Peaceful Pine ink, and here is the happy anniversary, and let me grab the foam piece again. Happy anniversary is going to go on this little, it's a 1 by 3 inch piece. There, and then the sentiment for the inside. I don't have anybody celebrating anniversaries this year, but man, I hope I kind of do so I can send them this card. I just need to get my head underneath here for a second to make sure I'm straight. So that is that. So you can kind of tell this is with the foam pad, and this is a little bit how fuzzy this was without it. So I think having that foam piece underneath there to stamp on is going to be really valuable for these new I don't know if it's the ink or what it is, but I didn't always have to do that before with this glass mat, so not sure what that's all about. Um, okay, so then I'm going to use the punch, the Happy Labels punch, and this is currently on the last chance list. I just looked at it this morning. Excuse me, this morning at the time of my filming. It's still available in the US anyway. Hopefully, it is available in other markets too. I absolutely love this punch and I am going to miss it. Oh, I'm so sad that it's going away. Um, Absolutely love it because you can make your little label any size you need it to be and then just have a little decoration on the edges. So grab it while you have a chance. Um, I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back there. I have to cut some dimensionals on my sheet here. Gotta use them all. No wasting dimensionals. Edges. Okay, so I'm gonna put this on the front. There are so many adorable cards using this Lily of the Valley bundle online already, so definitely go out and check out all the samples that people are making. Um, this one on the inside. And I wanted to use the in colors, so that's why I switched it up and got away from the actual designer series paper. So get some ideas outside of using the designer series paper. Okay, then the last bit on the front are the little butterflies. These are so adorable. Adorable, adorable. So I just use, they're a little bit harder to pick up with the take your pick tool than some of the other embellishments are, but just because they're a little heavier, I think. But it still works. So just 3 little butterflies. Add a little. Those are sparkly too. I know that's probably going to be hard to see on camera, but they have a bit of sparkle to them also. Um, and I will be honest, this pink is so light that for me it was really hard to see the combination of until I started combining it with other colors. So if I was just going to compare, this is a piece of white with the embossing folder. And when I was trying to come up with this card, I was really trying to figure out which color I should use. And the pink was just beautiful, adorable. Nice, pretty spring color. Okay, so that is the card that we're making today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed some ideas with this new suite and the um, amazing new stamp set. Let me grab that again if I can find where I piled it. Hold on. So you can see the phrases again. Again, there's anniversary, there's thinking of you, there's a sympathy sentiment, a birthday, and like a belated birthday. Yeah, so absolutely just nice, generic multi holiday or multi purpose use stamp set that I was so happy to see in the new catalog. Okay, so that, let me bring in some other samples that I made. I went a little crazy yesterday. I'm not always great about making samples from new stamp sets, but this one I had fun with because I saw so many ideas online. Let me show you this one's first. So this is using the designer series paper. And then these embellishments are in the suite. These are called the shimmering dots, and so those matte, those go with that sweet, so little dots, and they got a little sparkle on them. And I did sort of the same thing on this Lily of Valley as I did on the inside of the card that we made today, but I just did used black ink, and then our new black ink, and then I used one of our blends to put a little bit of kind of, I think I used fresh freesia for that one, just to add a little color to the flowers. This one is using the embossing folder with white over the top of it. Thought that was beautiful. And this is again one of our new in colors. I think that one might be my favorite. Hydrangea hue. I love hydrangeas, but that it's a beautiful color. Okay, so this is another one, Forever to a Forever Kind of Friend. I love making cards with just using the DSP for what it's worth. So absolutely love these patterns. Kind of shows that Coastal Cabana is one of the background colors in the designer series paper pack. Just made a vertical card there. And then this is how simple and you know, you probably already know this, but a lot of this designer series paper is so beautiful. And then there's a little bit of white space in there, so I just stamped right on the designer series paper and made that a very nice sympathy card. So those are my samples using both the Phrases and Frames stamp set and the stamp set. Some of the greetings are from the stamp set from the Lily and Bloom suite. So hopefully you enjoyed my presentation today. Hope you have a wonderful day. Make sure you go back and look at or watch all of the other videos. Comment on this video too in the Facebook feed so that it will be brought up for others to see. That would be great. Sorry again that I'm not there live. And we, as always, would love to see your samples. If we inspired you to make something, would love to see your samples. Post a picture in the group, post it underneath this presentation if you want, or just in a generic post in the group. Would love to see that. We all love to see when we inspire you. Hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time, which will be in July. Have a great one.